And this has been like a retreat for me here because I'm here alone and I've been really into some deep study and listening to some beloved teachers and journaling and every day is spending a lot of time walking, just walking in nature. And through that practice of taking in, of reflection, of meditation and walking, I I had this teaching arise or this idea. I don't think it comes from me. I think we have antenna and then we're really attuned and we're very quiet. We can kind of download the teachings and insights that have been around for thousands of years. There's nothing new. But we just need to get quiet enough. And on the coast here, I've been quiet enough lately. And one of the kind of a key idea is that we need to, or it's helpful, beneficial, to really take time to unplug from content. So that's interesting. As a writer and a teacher, that poses a bit of a challenge for me to unplug from content, because then what am I doing? And what am I doing in teaching if I'm not going to be in content? But I really love this. And I had also planned, it's my first time here, and I planned a series of things to do. I could take the train to Cannes. There's a monastery. It's a 20-minute train. I could spend time at the monastery. I could go to the Picasso Museum in Nice, 20-minute train the other direction. There's so many things I had on my itinerary. And a few days ago, when I was doing this walking and meditating, I had this kind of knowing arise to just let go of all the doing and just be at a time when our world is so tumultuous and the acceleration of the complexity brought in with AI is just incomprehensible. And the fear that's arising in so many domains, the way that social media has become an ecosystem of addiction, it's just kind of all overwhelming. And all of us here, most of us, I'll say, have a practice. We know how to sit, we know how to breathe, we know how to do a body scan or to do loving kindness and repeat phrases and send them out like we just did. We know how to practice. But it's so easy for us as human beings, especially with the way our world is designed, to get caught up in doing and get caught up in consuming, even consuming the good books, the good teachers, the good podcasts, the good Dharma talks. And so that's what arose in me a few days ago, is to get really, really still and let go of the itinerary and just be. And that is what I did. And in that just sitting, if you can imagine, many of you may have been to this part of the world, but what it looks like is a gently curving coastline. It's not straight here. It's gently curving with inlets and pieces coming out and back in. And the water that meets the edge of the land here is the Mediterranean. So it's got this incredible color and quality of, it's so clear. So that's kind of the picture. And then along the coast are these beautiful pine trees, the kinds that come up and lean over and then just are kind of flat like umbrellas. They have those in Italy. So we've got this coastline, and then we've got rocks. There's some of the beaches are sand, some of the beaches are rocks. I was hiking yesterday, walking in the rocky areas and the coves, and it was so simple. It was so simple to reduce all the stimuli coming in and just see a few colors: white rocks, blue water, blue sky, rocky path, some green. Not a lot of green, not as much as I had at home when I left, but very simple. And that is a teaching. That's the earth reminding me and reminding us to just slow down and access what's simple. And I sat in meditation yesterday on this land like this, and I thought of Mary Oliver's question that we all know, and that is, doesn't everything die at last and too soon? Tell me, what is it you plan to do with your one wild and precious life? And so I really thought about that, particularly at this time in my life when there's been a lot of transition and change. And I invite you to close your eyes for a minute and just look at the river of your own life, from birth and flowing childhood, younger school years, middle school, high school, who was around you, family or friends, activities you were doing. And some people went to more school, some worked. You may have moved multiple times. You may have stayed a long time somewhere, just looking at the river of your life. And looking at the transitions. Looking at the form, your skin, your hair, your clothes. How it's changed so much from the toddler to the 8-year-old to the high schooler to adult to now, whatever stage you're in. Just appreciating that river of life. And looking at the path ahead. We don't know if it's one step or 50 steps. Opening your eyes when you're ready. But we pause here and we say, doesn't everything die at last and too soon? And so that is really what I wanted to bring forward today. Is this deeply embodied practice, just coming deep into the body, simple, breathing, sensing, feeling the life that's here. In so doing, we let go of thinking, of concepts. We let go of even the lists. We can set down for a minute the 4 Noble Truths and the Eightfold Path. We can set down the 10 Commandments for those who just celebrated Easter. We can put all the books down and just deepen attention into the life that's right here. Because this life will die at last, will die too soon. And so will all those around us that we love. And so this death contemplation is the doorway to joy. There's a quote from a man named Wallace Stevens who said, "Death is the mother of beauty." I invite you to just reflect on that. Death is the mother of beauty. And so the different interpretations may come up in you. What is that? But it's this truth in the exquisite beauty of being alive. And so the invitation that we have is to allow the stuff of life, the Netflix shows, the books on the bookshelf, the things that we gather, even the museums, even the open air tour bus through the city in France, all the things, just sometimes letting them all kind of go to the side and just anchor in the experience, the direct experience of being alive. Because that is where beauty arises. There's so much beauty happening right now at home. Home is Kensington, Maryland, not far from many of you right now. There's so much exquisite beauty. The azaleas are burst into bloom. We just had a beautiful parade. First came the crocuses or croci, then the daffodils bursting into life, and then the tulips came. And as the tulips are standing at attention all around in the garden, then in the place I'm living that I just moved in November, so I've never seen spring there before. All of a sudden, this grand and magnificent magnolia tree she just burst into bloom, so big, pink and white petals. And every day I went and stood under that tree or laid under that tree or sat under that tree every day, because I knew that this was absolutely impermanent. I knew that she was going to drop all those petals. And she did. And there was a carpet, which I wouldn't even clean up. Someone said, "Hey, you've got a blower, you can clean all that." I said, "Oh no, this is a carpet just given to me by this tree." And I enjoyed that. And then the carpet turned brown. And the pink and white turned brown. And then they started drying up, and then the wind blew them and they kind of went away. And so that magnolia tree reminded me of the impermanence. Just like in our bodies, in our practice, the breath arises and it's gone. A sound appears, disappears. A sensation forms, and then it dissolves. A mood comes, a heaviness, a sadness, and then it changes form, and then it dissipates. The magnolia tree, blooming, glorious, falling. It was like rain one day out there, making a carpet, and then that blowing away. And so Thich Nhat Hanh teaches us that when we look deeply, we see that everything is in constant transformation. Everything is impermanent, and nothing is separate. And so it's just like the simplest truth in the Dharma is that everything is changing. And in our practice, we return again and again to that truth, that impermanence is not happening to life. It is life. Impermanence is life. There's nothing to hold on to. everything is moving. Everything is changing. Really, except for one thing. I was listening to a teacher who said, his name is Shi-Hing Lee. He's a Shaolin master. And he was saying that if you and me, if all of us were sitting together, just like we are this moment, we were sitting together as kids. Let's say we're all 8 years old, sitting side by side, and just sitting and breathing, feeling the in-breath and the out-breath. That there's only one thing that would be the same from sitting together as 8-year-olds and sitting together today. Everything is different. Every cell in our body has changed. Our ideas about life have changed. Our knowledge, we've acquired knowledge and experience. Our muscles have grown. Our hair has changed. I know mine has probably 5 different ways. Everything has changed. What the room where we're sitting, what's around us, who are the people that are closest to us in our life. For me, that's all dramatically changed. Everything has changed, except there's one thing that has not changed. That was exactly the same with us sitting together as 8-year-olds breathing and the way we're sitting together today. And that is our awareness, our conscious, and I'll say divine awareness. Sri Nisargadatta has a book that has become a Bible for me, and I'll say it's because of Tara saying so many times over the years, Tara Brach, that it's a Bible for her. So I thought, finally, okay, what's she talking about? So I started studying that over the years. And I love the title of it, I Am That. And so that is what hasn't changed. So while there's the truth of impermanence, there's also the truth of awareness, which doesn't change. Our conscious awareness. And so this morning, we drop into that. Very simple. That knowing that is the only thing that stays the same. Everything else changes. And when we hold on to whatever it is that we don't want to change, that's the second noble truth in lived form. We're holding on to what is pleasant. Oh, if I could just stay on this coast of France, or if I could just not finish my taxes. Oh, I don't want to go back into that spreadsheet. We grasp, we push. That's where suffering comes in. Life doesn't obey those requests. Pema Chodron, the Tibetan teacher, says, notice when we're resisting, notice when we're grasping, notice when we don't want life to be just as it is. Notice when we can drop the rope. We get out of the tug of war. We let go of having to be right. We drop back into the field that we were in meditation. As Rumi says, the field that's out beyond right doing and wrong doing. And we just rest here. That's the path to peace. This too shall pass. So when we accept impermanence, life becomes beautiful. Death is the mother of beauty. And this is an opening for us, not a resignation. It's an invitation. when we stop trying to make things last and control things and shape them, we can actually experience them more deeply. The invitation is to experience more deeply, to look at your agenda and your to-do list, to look at the beliefs about what constitutes a good life, and see if you can shed half of that and simplify. In Pema's book, Living Beautifully with Uncertainty and Change, she points to this, relaxing with impermanence. And in that relaxing, that everything's changing, we deepen attention and discover a freedom and aliveness that is not dependent on what's going on out here. And that is resourcing us. That's infusing us with the energy and vitality needed to do the work of serving the world. And each one of us have our own way of serving. And heaven knows the world really needs us right now. So the present moment is the only moment available to us. And the invitation is to experience it more through the body and heart than through the mind. This is a radical shift for us Westerners, dropping from thinking, analyzing, listing, arguing, debating, dropping into the body and experiencing life through the senses. Because impermanence is what makes this moment sacred. Right now, as we sit together, something is rising. Something new is emerging in the field. Something is coming. Something is being born. Something is blooming. And now it's already passing. Can you feel that? Not thinking it, feeling it. Nothing needs to be added to this moment for it to be complete. You don't have to go tour that museum or travel to that city or read that new book. This moment is complete. Present moment, wonderful moment. Thai teaches that this moment contains everything. And because it will pass, it is sacred. The invitation of practice is to be here for the life that is already here, in the field of love that is already always here, in which we we are together. Thank you for being here and practicing with me.